Hi, I'm Patrick Prince with the Tulsa World, joined by our lead high school writer, Barry Lewis. This is kind of our second of our weekly videos that he and I are going to be doing and talk primarily about high school sports. We're filming a video right now, but we will also be turning this into a podcast. So if you're the type that you'd rather listen than watch, we'll have that option available to you as well. So Barry, how are you?
Great. It's an interesting time of the year. Well, it's sort of a weird week because this is a week where there isn't really any high school athletics scheduled, and that's really rare from August through May. Because even though there's not a lot next week, there's still a few holiday tournaments, but this is a week that's sort of a quiet week for high
Mhm.
school athletics.
So we're kind of starting to transition, into the winter sports, and for you, that means basketball. What's kind of been? It's still very, very early, but what's been some of your impressions so far?
I was at the Memorial Tournament last Saturday, actually. It was a 3-day invitational, and I came away very impressed by Memorial, which is not really any surprise since Memorial's won 5 state championships in the past decade. Uh, but what surprised me, and I know it's early, but this might be the best Memorial team during this run.
No
Um,
kidding.
they are they don't have the superstars like the Boones or Caleb Nero, but they are really deep. They are really solid. I mean, they're usually deep, but it seems like they're deeper than ever. So they're 11-0 and heading into the Tournament of Champions. And I think we'll get a real feel if this could be the best Memorial team in the when we watch them play in the Tournament of Champions. But right now, I'm very impressed by Memorial, and I know we want to segue into the Tournament of Champions, but I also want to bring up Bartlesville. Bartlesville with a huge win at Broken Arrow last Friday. And Bartlesville is a program which has been down for the last 6-7 years or so, a program which was really good for quite a while under Tim Bart, but it's taken them a while to build back. And they've got a sophomore superstar, David Castillo, who's played on the national under-16 team and had success there. And they are a team to watch. Wow. And it's not just David Castillo. Last Friday when they won at Broken Arrow, he only scored 13 points. So it's not just David Castillo and everyone else there. So that's what not only did they beat Broken Arrow, but they won with him not having a huge scoring night. Earlier in the season, they took Jenks, which is now number 1 in 6A, to overtime, and on a night when he scored 41 points. So Bartlesville is a team that's it's been a while since they've been a contender or talked about, but they're a team to watch.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. The Tournament of Champions starts Monday. You mentioned Memorial. Who else are you looking forward to see?
On the boys' side, a lot of interesting matchups. On the first day, you've got a couple number 1 ranked teams, Memorial in 5A against Hydro Eakly in Class A, which again, that's what the sort of what I'm going to be writing about in Monday's paper, Advancing the Tournament. That's what the Tournament Champions is all about, these David versus Goliath matchups, especially in size. Hydro Eakly, I believe, has the longest winning streak in the state. So we'll see if they can give Big Memorial a challenge. And then you've got another similar matchup with Jenks versus Cashion. Of course, Cashion is just coming off another state football title. They've only played 1 game, so they're probably not going to be in prime form yet. But another interesting game. Del City and Crossings Christian, a matchup of 2 state champions from last year. That'll be interesting, and that's at the 10:30 game on Monday. And then the day concludes with 2 locals, Owasso and Victory Christian, playing. So the boys' bracket is loaded, and so is the girls. A lot of interesting teams there too, with Norman at the tournament, Bixby, Sealing, Howe, and the rest. So it's it's going to be a great 3 days of basketball at the BOK Center.
Yeah, always a great event. Let's go back to football for just a second. Let's talk about signing day a little. We're several days past it now. Any surprises for you on signing day?
I think the only surprise was, and we talked about the Gentry Williams surprise last week. So, but at that point, we did not know that Max Brown, the great Lincoln Christian quarterback, was not going to sign. He's still committed to Central Michigan, but he's not. He posted on Twitter that he's not going to sign until February, and after the signing period ended, that he also posted he'd received a tweet from the University of Washington. So that's very interesting. I think so. His stock is going up. He had a great year, and I'm excited to see what his future holds. And it'll be interesting to see if he sticks with Central Michigan.
For someone who's never seen him play, Barry, just kind of give us some insight into his game a little bit.
He can do it all. He's a really outstanding runner, and he's also obviously a very good passer. I think he's a little better runner than passer. I think he's more of a running threat than a passing threat. But he is a good passer too. So he's just a very much a dual threat quarterback.
What's his running style? I mean, is he a big kid?
He's a big kid.
Yeah.
He's got great speed, and he's tough, and he can power for some yardage. He's not easy to tackle.
So would you say it's up in the air now? Could be Central Michigan, could be Washington, could be somebody else?
I would just say with anyone in his situation, just like with Gentry Williams, you are committed to a team, but you did not sign in that first signing period, and you're receiving other offers and other schools are interested. So that you could just sort of leave it up to your imagination in those situations that you may be committed, but if you were really committed, that you would have gone ahead and signed.
Yeah.
So there, I think I would guess they would call in the recruiting definition a soft commitment.
Soft commit, right?
For now, at least.
Yeah. Well, we'll be looking out to see where he ends up. All right, let's transition now a little bit, Barry, to college football just for a second. I know you're a big follower of TU football. They ended their season on a high note. How do you remember this season if you're a TU fan?
It's it's always how you remember how you finish more than the rest, and that's a good thing for TU this year as opposed to last year. It's really weird, the contrast of the two seasons, because TU had such a outstanding season last year and more successful in most ways than this year, but the season ended and including Zaven Collins winning all those awards and playing in the conference championship game, a better year overall, but there was a real down feeling to the way the season ended as opposed to this year, where it wasn't much fun for most of the year. They were underachieving, but when you close with 4 consecutive victories and win your bowl game, even though that only lifts you up to 7-6, there's a whole lot of positivity around the program right now than there was after their bowl game last year. Even though but when you look in the big picture, everyone at the end of last year was really excited, looking forward to 2021, thinking that this could be a team that would win 9 or 10 games. And when you look at how well they played Ohio State and Oklahoma State and Cincinnati, some of the best teams in the country, and how close they came to pulling off an upset or two against them. And when you think, they only wound up 7-6, in that aspect, it is a bit disappointing because they really had the ability to win 8, 9, 10 games, perhaps. In the Cal Davis game, it took a lot starting the season with a loss like that. That I don't know if you ever really recover. I mean, I guess TU in the end recovered about as well as you could from a loss like that, but that loss really is a dark cloud over the season for quite a while. So kudos to Coach Montgomery and the players and their staff there for getting it turned around, because it's really hard to get it turned around when you've had the disappointments they've had and you're 3-6. It's rare to win your last 4 games. So that speaks a lot to the character of the team. And I think Davis Brin really came on at the end, matured, and I think TU will carry a lot of momentum into next season.
All right, Barry, well, you're going to take a few days off. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I'll be back for the Tournament of Champions.
Some well-earned days off by the hardworking Barry Lewis. And all right, we'll check in with you next week, and we'll be looking forward to your Tournament of Champions coverage.
All right. Sounds good, Patrick.
All right, Barry, thank you.